All right, what is up, everybody? It's time for your Payback 2017 predictions, as you know, some people call them. I've actually never heard anyone call them that, but you know, sometimes you got to make up some things to make up some things, right? Right? Right. But Payback 2017 predictions. I'm kind of excited for this show. I didn't realize how many matches were on, like that there were as many matches on this show. This feels like a really stacked in quantity card. Like there's a bunch of matches on this show. Did you notice how many matches were on this show?
I did not.
Well, when I was going through and downloading these pictures, I was like, man, there's a bunch of matches on this show, and there's a chance I probably didn't even get them all, to be honest, because there's a lot. There's a lot more than I expected. But let's start with what's on your screen right now, which is Enzo and Cass versus the Club, or Gallows and Anderson. They don't really call them the Club anymore. They're just kind of like Gallows and Anderson. So that's kind of confusing sometimes. But
You mean Tex Ferguson?
yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. But I'm gonna go with Enzo and Cass. I think they're setting them up for a tag team title run soon. That's probably going to be the team to take the titles off the Hardys, in my opinion. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to go with Enzo and Cass. I think Enzo and Cass are the better team right now. As far like I feel like the Club has already hit that peak per se with the titles. So we and I think we all still want to see Enzo and Cass as champions, and we just haven't seen it yet. So I'm gonna go with Enzo and Cass. Casey.
You know, the younger naive me that believed in Enzo and Cass and that they could be something one day would go with Enzo and Cass.
Shame on you, first off.
But the older, more informed me of WWE's and logic and how they book things knows that they ain't never gonna get them titles. It never gonna happen. No, not. But I think if WWE pays attention to Finn Balor and his Instagram, then they would give the Club this win and then push them toward the titles and put the Club together with Finn. I'm just saying, just an idea, just throwing it out there. Do it. Do it.
Well, I think the bad part is they're gonna really, really, really late.
Yeah.
They're gonna realize this like a year from now, and we're gonna be like, the Club. I don't want to see that. Like, let's be honest, we know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, and I do want to let you know these matches are not in any particular order. I just kind of put them here so you can see them better. So,
wow, no,
I don't know what order they're gonna be in anyway. Like it's not like I can predict the future and say, you know, this is the order they're gonna be in.
No research at all, you know.
Oh, you're the absolute worst at it. Anyway, let's jump into the next match, which is Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. And no, I don't think this match is going to be this high on the card. Let's be honest. It'll probably be the U.S. title match next, more than likely. I'm excited for this match. This definitely has all the makings to be a good match. To be a really good match. I'm glad Seth Rollins is kind of hitting his stride again and getting himself back to 100%. I don't think you're ever 100% in this business per se, but still, you know, trying at least. So I'm I felt like this card had some really good matches on it. Enzo and Cass versus the Club has the potential of being good. We'll just have to see. This match definitely has the potential of being good. But I think that Seth Rollins is going to win this match. I think it's finally time for Seth Rollins to kind of get that one up on the rest of the Authority or the rest of the Alliance. I don't know what they're calling themselves, but it's about time he on those guys in some form or fashion. So Samoa Joe. So I'm going Seth Rollins. Casey.
You know, if Miley wasn't a complete asshole to me earlier, I would have gone with Seth Rollins. But because she was an asshole to me earlier for no reason, just because I posted that we were going to do this video on Twitter, I'm going with Samoa Joe. And I hope he slightly injures Seth Rollins, not to the point where, he needs surgery, but to a point where Miley cries a little bit. Just a little bit. Like, I hope
she does get emotional.
I hope he has those like career-ending injuries that he returns from in the next week.
Oh yeah, those those career-ending injuries. Next, we have Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens for the United States Championship of the World. This match, once again, should be a really good match. I think this is the third in a row that I said could be a really good match. It's a possibility. I think Payback, for the most part, has been a good pay-per-view for WWE. I don't know how you feel about Payback, but I think Payback has been pretty good to WWE since it's been kind of happening. I am going to go with Kevin Owens, obviously. I don't see Chris Jericho winning this match at all. And Kevin Owens is going to stay on SmackDown. This is kind of a weird pay-per-view. I know we talked about this, like, I think off camera and even like sometimes in like random spots in different discussions that we've done. These matches are really weird. I understand that you want to keep the whole Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens thing going, but then they had started the Kevin Owens and who are they feuding him with on? I think it was AJ at first, but like it's like you started those feuds, but then you cut off those feuds to finish feuds from Raw. I didn't really like about this, the whole superstar shakeup. You were saying words?
Well, I think the superstar shakeup made some of these matches so predictable because storylines have to end now because certain superstars are changing, shows, or Chris Jericho is apparently supposed to be going on tour with Fozzy again. So obviously he's not, going to win a title if he's going to be going on tour. I think he's supposed to be going on tour last time I checked. But It's just, I don't know why they made
it's a good way of like prolonging the feuds, like the other feuds, as far as like booking them like for, a longer period of time later. But then again, like it's not like they're gonna book any feuds to last that long anyway. Like we'll be lucky if we get feuds that last until SummerSlam. But I kind of wish we would get feuds that lasted until SummerSlam, from now until SummerSlam. But that's just me. But then again, I think that's the era we live in with the wrestling fan being so impatient and wanting change all the time. Is that you can't have feuds that last longer than 2 months, it feels like, without people getting disinterested.
I mean, you're lucky if we get a feud that lasts a month.
Remember that feud that lasted like a week?
they usually start maybe 2 weeks before the pay-per-view. Like that's the general, storyline that they have. They start like 2 weeks before and push it really hard. And then they wonder why we don't get behind it.
You're not wrong. But Casey, who you going with? But who you going with, Casey? who you go?
They do like their part timers. They do. So I'm gonna go with Chris Jericho. He's gonna take the title and take it on tour with Fozzy. I'm gonna.
Yes, do it, please. Can that please happen? Can that please happen?
And then send videos every week from the tour with the title. That would be.
That'd be very like Miz-esque, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think they need to do that. I think yes. The US tour. The US title, US tour. Yep. Do it, WWE.
All right. let's jump into the next match, which is Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. Now, like I said, a lot of times with Raw, I watch it, but I miss some things. Like I don't know about you, but I end up watching Raw, but I'm like on my phone or I'm like playing some game or something like. So I may have missed something, but to my knowledge, this is just a straight up match.
I think so.
Am I wrong?
I mean,
why?
Probably in there somehow.
Yeah. Why is this just a normal match? Like, I would feel like these two wouldn't just go. Now, this is just logic to me. These two would just go in and have a normal match just after all they've been through over the past couple of months. Not even weeks, couple of months. To me, that's weird. Like, it's weird to me that this is a normal match. Like, I mean, at the most, we've seen Braun Strowman turn. We've seen him throw Reigns, attached to a stretcher off, the or whatever, right? And we've also seen him turn over a freaking ambulance. But we're not getting like an ambulance match or like a stretcher match or like any sort of match to like end this feud, because I feel like I don't think this feud's gonna ever technically end, but like I think we're getting to like the peak of this feud and more closer to the end. So I don't understand why this isn't some sort of like there's no stipulation in this match. It doesn't make sense to me. But I think this match will be a good match. I mean, Big Show versus Braun was amazing, so I think this match will be a good match. I think it was a pretty good match the last time they had a match. There's no stipulation, but I'm going with Roman Reigns because I love Roman Reigns, and there's nothing you can tell me not to love Roman Reigns. There's just nothing you can tell me. So, Casey.
Well, Sarah wants this to be a career-ending match, and she wants Roman to lose. Just give it your thoughts.
I mean, just so you know, Sarah. The more we talk about him, the more he gets pushed. I'm just saying, he's the most talked about man in professional wrestling. Period.
But see, I want to see what they do in this match to try to get the fans on Roman's side, because they keep trying to do it and they keep trying to do it, and the fans still gravitate more to Braun. Like,
and I think too. I think WWE's gotten to the point where they're just gonna let the reaction come in, because I think let me tell you the biggest issue with WWE turning Roman Reigns heel at this point is all the fans are going to do when they turn him heel is cheer him. And I don't think I feel like WWE just really doesn't want to deal with the smarky fans, so they're just going to let him react to him however they want to react to him. I think honestly it's the fans that's killing the Roman Reigns heel turn that we probably really want.
I mean, that is what we really want, and that's what they just need to do. Who cares if it's what the fans want, and yeah, they're gonna cheer them, but that's how fans are these days. We generally cheer heels and we boo faces. It's just how kind of the fan base has evolved, I think.
But I think that's how the WWE fan base has evolved. I don't feel like it's like that everywhere else.
I mean, it depends.
Am I wrong? I mean, if I'm wrong, tell me. But because like I feel like we get this overwhelmingly like opposite reaction from the fans in WWE, but like you don't see, like you may see the fans get behind certain superstars in TNA that are heels, but they don't necessarily cheer them. Same thing in Ring of Honor, I feel like, and New Japan as well.
And also, I think that's also because WWE's booking. They either book somebody horribly and want them to be over as faces, or like, and we've talked about Roman a lot. The past, how they're just booking him terribly. They don't change his gimmick. They don't change anything about him. So why are we all of a sudden gonna like a guy that hasn't changed? Like, I it's like, you know, if somebody said, you know, I'm gonna come in and completely remodel your house, and you leave for a week and you come back and it's the same. Like, what's how? Why am I gonna get excited for the same thing? I mean, and I don't necessarily not like Roman. I think, you know, he's shown potential. They just aren't booking him to where he can kind of go off of that potential, I feel like.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all.
And I think he's shown that he could be a good heel. We saw, like, before he was Roman Reigns, that heel vignette that he had, or that promo that was on YouTube, and it was awesome. Why can't they just change his gimmick and let him do that? Like,
I think too, it's a level. I think there's a level of fear. Ironically enough, we would feel like WWE doesn't need to fear anything. I mean, they are the top dog. LOL. They are the top dog. You know, they are like, there's nothing that's really gonna stop WWE. But I think they're fearful of how the fans are gonna react, because I think, and it goes back to Vince a little bit. I think Vince is a little set in his ways about how he wants things to happen. I feel like Vince doesn't want his heels to be cheered, and he doesn't want his faces to be booed.
well, I mean, that's just him being, you know, like you said, set in his ways, and that's how it was when he was, you know, a young man back in the day.
Well, and two, I think too, like, I think it's hard to say that Vince doesn't at least know of other promotions and know that this doesn't happen in other promotions. And I think it's kind of frustrating for Vince. It's gonna work, darn it. Like, you know how Vince is. He's stubborn. Like, he's like, it's gonna work, darn it. We all know that Vince is probably thinking that right now. Like, I'm gonna keep going with this until it works.
I think it's also kind of a lose-lose situation, because Vince is stubborn, but guess what? Wrestling fans are stubborn. Like, it's just one of the two is going to have to give in, and it doesn't look like either one's giving in anytime soon. So, Triple H, help us out here. Do something.
So who are you going with, Roman or Braun? And are you confused that this isn't a stipulation match? Because it should.
I am. I'm gonna go with Braun, and then Roman has a heel turn at the end and just beats the shit out of Braun with a chair.
You know, the fans did like that though. When he beat the crap out of people with chairs, they were like, "Yeah, you know, that right there. That's what I like."
And then Vince was like, "Let's not do that again."
All right, let's move on. Tag team title match. We got the Hardys. Freaking Matt Hardy. We got the Hardys. I guess the Hardy Boys, technically. I think they're back to the Hardy Boys again. The Hardy Boys going up. Sheamus and Cesaro. I guess we can call them the Hardy Men's now. Can we call them the Hardy Men's? I think we can. I'm going with the Hardys. Like, can they stop with Sheamus and Cesaro? Like, I like them more now that they're kind of on the same page. But, like, there's still a lot of me that, like, having a difficult time taking them seriously. I don't know if you're having a hard time taking them seriously as, like, top contenders and champions, but I am.
I had a hard time taking them seriously the day they were put together as a tag team. So
then they started wearing kilts and everything, and it just, you know, you know. Yeah, I'm going with the Hardys. I just, I don't know. Like, that was one of my issues with this match. Is I was like, it's still really predictable, even though no one's going to another brand or anything like that. This match is still really predictable because, number one, it's going to be predictable anyway. The Hardys just got the titles. But Sheamus and Cesaro just challenged for the titles, and they just lost the titles not too long ago. So,
yeah.
But Casey.
And this kind of brings up a point that we were talking about off camera the other day, about an idea for another segment on the channel where we kind of talk about how WWE could book certain angles and certain, you know, gimmicks and things. I think obviously not, the Hardys aren't going to lose the titles to Sheamus and Cesaro, but I think what they need to do is, build up more of, that Matt and Jeff are really, excited about being tag team champions and, love being champions. And then when they finally lose them a little bit down the road, start, that broken Matt thing, like, show little signs of it. I mean, he's already doing it himself on his Twitter account if he watches Twitter. But I think they could definitely, do something like that. But obviously, yeah, they're not going to lose it at Payback.
It is weird hearing Matt talk like as normal Matt in promos. It catches me off guard every time.
But you can hear a little bit of the broken in him, like the broken Matt in him too, though. Like he has a little hint of it in there if you listen. But
all right. Let's jump to the next match. I keep pressing the wrong button every time. Like, I press the wrong button every time. We got Bayley going up against Alexa Bliss. Yeah, that's how that guy on SmackDown used to say it. I'm excited for this match. This should be a good match. What?
That's why he was fired.
What? Alexa! But, I'm excited for this match. This should be a good match as well. I like Alexa. Like, people are hard on this girl. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. You stop it right now. Don't be hard on her. But I think this should be a good match. Do I think Alexa's gonna win? Oh man, that was funny. No, not at all. Not at all. But I think this should be a good match nonetheless. I'm gonna come in with my non-predictable cap on. I'll be like, this is gonna be a good match. I don't know who gonna win. I don't know at all who gonna win. And I'm gonna watch it and I'm like, this is a good match. That's what we all should do, but it's hard. I get it, it's tough. But yeah, I'm going with Bayley. Casey.
The funny part is he actually has a non-predictable cap. It says non-predictable on it. He wears it, when he's trying to be non-predictable, but it don't work.
He's not wrong.
This is so tough because not because I want one to win over the other, but like.
But she's not.
It's well known that Vince didn't like where Alexa's story or gimmick was going, even though it was really good and the fans liked it. And he doesn't like where Bayley's going. So, like, how does he book this? Who, like,
Brawl?
Like, I don't know. Like, I literally don't know what Vince would do here.
Draw.
I'm just gonna go with Bayley because
Well, and I think we're all going with Bayley in a collective ray of hope that we get Bayley Sasha at SummerSlam.
Yeah, because
we're all looking for. You had something else to say before we move on to the next match? I heard it. I heard the words.
That would be really good. The Bayley in this, as long as Sasha doesn't try to scorpion it anymore.
Oh God. Well, I mean, we gonna keep hope alive, but I ain't gonna guarantee nothing. We gonna move on. The match that should be the main event, but probably won't, because LMFAO Neville versus Austin Aries for the Cruiserweight Championship. And this was my issue with Brock as champion the last time, is that they didn't. My biggest issue was they didn't allow any of these other champions to be in the main event to say, hey, we can be main eventers too. / my title is just as important, or at least, a step below or something. Like, this is the moment, and this feud has been really good. It's main event worthy. I wouldn't put the U.S. title in the main event in this particular pay-per-view just because I think Kevin, maybe not. They could do that. I just thought about it. It's Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho. That's still a reasonable feud that could be main event worthy. So I would definitely either one. But like Don't put Orton versus Wyatt. That's not a title match, by the way. Orton versus Wyatt in the House of Horrors as the main event. I know they want it's gonna be the big gimmicky match as the main event, but it's not even Raw's championship, or it's barely even Raw Superstars. So, but anyway, we'll talk about that here in a second. This match should be the main event. It's gonna be a really good match. I hope it makes the actual card. That would be nice. But you never know with the cruiserweights. And since they're still trying to push the cruiserweights as this big thing, this will be the perfect opportunity to make them the main event and make it feel like it's a big thing. The king of the cruiserweights, because after he beat Austin Aries the first time, I can't see him losing to Austin Aries this time. I just can't see it. He's the king. He's the unstoppable king, and he will continue to be the king. And I think that TJ Perkins might play shenanigans here somewhere. But I don't know. I could see Neville winning this match. But I think if Neville wins this match, it's going to have to be with TJ Perkins somewhere sprinkled in, I feel like. But I'm going with the king of the cruiserweights, Neville. Casey.
Yeah, this should be a multi-man match, or a ladder match or something to show off the rest of the cruiserweights, because I'm sure half the fans don't even know there's actually a division. I'm gonna go with Aries though.
I think too. In my opinion, I think you need to do that. I think that's a smart idea if Neville wins, because then then there's that whole they can redo the same thing where there's no one to stop Neville, and then ladder match or big old match, Ultimate X match, it could happen.
The big old match. That's the name of it.
Yeah, that big old match. You do one of them big old matches. Yeah, that's what I would do personally. The big old match.
Oh, you mean the Ultimate O match, where they get the O?
Yeah. I think we should go with the Ultimate W match. You know
what? No, they need the Ultimate Brass Ring match where they go up and they get the brass ring. Because
you're right.
They always,
Ultimate Purple match. Okay, I'm done.
They always been talking about it, but they never put the brass ring in a match. So how can you grab it if it ain't in a match to win? I'm just saying.
You're not wrong though. You not. But let's move on to what I'm expecting to be the main event. Not sure, but it is quite possible.
Probably not.
Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. I feel like this is gonna be the main event, but I feel like it shouldn't. Once again, I find it weird, and this is another consistency issue with WWE, that before, when the brand split first started, almost was it a year ago now? Almost. I think it's almost a year ago now. When the brand split started, one of the biggest things was Raw versus SmackDown. Raw versus SmackDown. Raw versus SmackDown. And now Raw's openly just promoting SmackDown because whatever. And now we have a SmackDown, it's not a full-fledged SmackDown match, but SmackDown's main title is on the show. Raw's main title is nowhere to be found. So I just that's my only issue with this is what happened to the whole Raw versus SmackDown aspect of things? What happens to the fans got to choose a show or whatever? What happened to that? But Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, House of Horrors match. By the way, I don't know if you knew this, but I didn't know this until I heard somebody else talking about it. This is not a title match because I don't understand that either. I get you don't want the title to go to another show, but then again, why would you agree to the match? But then again, when Bray gonna get his rematch clause, and I just don't understand why this you're gonna have the champion on the show, but not have it as a title match.
But it makes sense because he's already started a feud with Finn, so
that's true, but Kevin Owens has started a feud with Jay. Now, technically, Kevin Owens is the champion, so he doesn't necessarily I know Chris Jericho wants the title back, but still, it's the same concept to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just. I mean, let's be honest, they should have just scrapped this match anyway, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Bray Wyatt. The title's not on the line. Great, it's a good way to protect Bray Wyatt. They did it with the New Day versus who they face versus the freaking League of Nations. Back when that was a thing, and they had the non-title match, so the New Day would have to lose. I feel like it's the same scenario with this. The title's not on the line. Bray Wyatt's gonna win. House of Horrors match is his match or whatever. I think my only issue with this is what's this gonna prove / how is this gonna help Bray? I think that's the only thing. Like, he can win this match, but like, is it actually gonna do anything for him? And that's my question, because we remember when the League of Nations beat the New Day, and we remember how much that mattered. Casey.
First of all, talking about I remember the original brand split, and at least that took a couple years before it turned into just Raw and SmackDown, not Raw versus SmackDown. This, not even a year later, it already feels like just Raw and SmackDown. It doesn't feel like a brand battle. It doesn't feel like anything. The very least they could have done with this is somehow had Randy feel like he's coming in to try to take over Raw in a way. But then again, why, it wouldn't make sense, because why would Bray Wyatt defend Raw? Because he's not that type of character. It just,
yeah, I think it would have made more sense. Came back to try to take over SmackDown. Like, I'm on Raw and my plan is to take over Raw, but I'm not quite done with SmackDown yet.
Yeah. Or if at the very least, Bray could have somehow stole the title and had that sort of angle where something where this makes sense, but it just doesn't. They should have scrapped this, but I'm going to go. I think what they could do with this, which would be good, they won't do it because it's WWE and they don't do things that are good. So, but anyway, I would have Randy Orton win, but I would have Finn Balor somehow, either come out or have some sort of mind games with Bray, causing him to lose. And that then goes into their feud, because they're already starting a feud with Bray and Finn. So why not have Finn Balor somehow, either get involved or just some sort of mind games or something. But yeah, I'm going to go Randy.
I think that would be cool. I think we're all looking forward to Finn versus Bray, like, to see how that's going to develop.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the whole Demon King thing, and how that's going to play into it. Like I think that's what makes it so interesting. But I think the way that they were portraying it before may throw it off some.
That's the one thing I don't like about the Finn Balor character, is, like, I know they use the demon to kind of sell, t-shirts and sell all merchandise and things. But I kind of liked before, when, Finn was in, New Japan and other promotions, where his character would change, from every match. It wasn't necessarily the demon every time. He could change, and kind of, I feel like he could work off of his opponents better that way. Because, I mean, yeah, he does change the face paint every time, and he changes it a little bit, but it's still the demon every time. I wish we could see changes in his character, at least with the face paint. Like, not just the demon every time, like different characters, different, monsters or whatever. But yeah.
All right. Well, that was your WWE Payback 2017 predictions. I don't know. I think I'm excited for the show, more or less. The show has a lot of potential, and I like that instead of getting like building these feuds for 2 weeks and then going out and having the matches. Like, I like that aspect of it. Like, at least, Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor, that'll, there's time for that to build. And like, who was it? Was it Roman versus Lesnar? I think was the other one. Or like even Kevin Owens versus AJ. Like at least there's some time for all of this stuff to build a little bit more. So that's the one thing I do like about it. Like that's the one thing I do like about review kind of being an in between pay per view, like kind of finishing up the other feuds. Is that at least it gives these other the newer feuds that we just got a couple of weeks ago when the Superstar Shakeup started, that kind of time to build a little bit. But
yeah.
But I'm excited though. I think it could be a good show. It has all the potential in the world to be a good show, but who knows? Who knows until we watch it. But anyway, we will see you guys next time for the next video. We got is what, TNA. I think we'll probably have a couple of other discussions coming up soon. I don't know when exactly, but
we got 205 Live before TNA.
Yeah, you're right. 205 Live. That'll be what, tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow. 205 Live. I don't know if we told you, but the six pack is changing days again. We don't know exactly what day. But it would be we changed more days than TNA did during that one period of time, like we do. But yeah, check out our discussion on our favorite NXT champions. That's definitely one you should check out. And also, we did a discussion on Shibata's future after his potentially career-threatening injury. We also talked about Jinder Mahal not too long ago. So check out all of that stuff. We did some playoff predictions as well. So check out all of that stuff. We got so much stuff on the channel that you need to be watching right now. Well, technically not right now. I mean, you could. Anyway, we're going to see you guys next time. We hope you guys enjoyed. Of course, give us a like, share the video if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys next time on the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant